It started with slippers. Not mine. Not even close. Tuesday night. I came home late from a business trip, standard corporate slog. Bad coffee, worse presentations, a hotel room that smelled like lemon-scented despair. I was tired, cranky, and ready to sink into my own bed beside the woman I'd spent the last 7 years calling my wife. Instead, I found a pair of men's slippers in our bathroom. They were black, worn at the heel, size 11. I'm a 10. Our only guest in the past 6 months was my brother, and he wears a 12 and lives across the country. So unless these things walked in on their own, we had a problem. I didn't say anything right away. No dramatic confrontations, no flying accusations. I just stood there, toothbrush in hand, staring at those damn slippers like they were ticking. Monica called from the bedroom. Honey? Everything okay? I turned. Yeah, I said. Just forgot to rinse. That was lie number one. I rinsed everything. Always have. I'm the guy who folds his t-shirts into thirds and separates paper clips by color. So no, I didn't forget. I observed. Later that night, after Monica fell asleep, back turned, breathing like nothing was off, I got out of bed and took photos of the slippers. I even flipped one over to get a better look at the sole. Worn unevenly. Left side more than the right. Whoever owned them had a slight lean. Probably from sports. Or guilt. The next morning, Monica made pancakes. Like nothing was off. Sleep well? She asked, kissing my cheek. Her lips were warm. Her hands were cold. I noticed that. Like a rock, I lied again. Lie number two. Then I said, did someone stop by while I was gone? No. She replied quickly, flipping the pancakes a little too hard. Just me and the dog. We didn't have a dog. I nodded. Sipped my coffee. And just like that, the game began. That day at work, I ran the photos through a reverse image search. No hits, obviously. I wasn't expecting the slippers to have a LinkedIn profile, but it made me feel like I was doing something. Next, I checked the doorbell camera. Nothing, which was odd. Monica always forgets to turn off the motion alerts when I'm gone, and the cloud backs up everything. Except, there was a 6-hour gap. From 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. the day before I got home. No alerts. No motion. No Monica waving goodbye as she left to run errands. Now that was interesting. That night, I laid the trap. Monica was brushing her hair when I casually said, "Hey, did you take the trash out Monday?" She glanced at me in the mirror. Why? Because the side bin was open. Just wondering if someone else came by. A 2-second pause. She blinked. Oh, that must have been the gardener. We don't have a gardener. Strike one. I called my buddy Cal. Works private security now. Used to be in cyber intel. Real quiet type. Grew up with Monica. Knew her better than she ever thought he did. You think she's cheating? He asked. I think I found Bigfoot in size 11 slippers and he likes using my shower, I replied. He laughed, short and bitter. All right, you want confirmation or you want closure? Neither, I said. I want evidence. You're already there, man. You just need the headline. That Friday, I came home early. Surprise visit. I walked in through the side gate, past the garden we didn't maintain, and slipped into the house just as I heard water running upstairs. Not the shower, sink. Then voices. Hers. And a man's. I didn't creep. I didn't storm. I just stood in the hallway, close enough to hear. I think he suspects, Monica said. Then he's smarter than you give him credit for, the man replied. That voice. That low, smug, breathy tone. I knew it. That was the slipper guy. I stepped back into the kitchen and made coffee. Like any other day. 10 minutes later, Monica came downstairs, alone, her face a little too composed. She jumped when she saw me. Hey, you're home early, she chirped. I didn't hear you come in. Yeah, I said. Flight got changed. Coffee. She hesitated. Sure. I handed her a cup, then smiled. By the way, I added, you might want to tell your guest to stop leaving his slippers in our bathroom. She froze. And there it was, game face cracking like ice under pressure. Oh, she tried. Slippers. Yeah. Size 11. Black. Worn heel. You know, the kind you wear when you think no one's watching. She didn't answer, just stared. And I sipped my coffee, smiling like a man who'd just moved a rook into checkmate. I once read somewhere that a person's face has 43 muscles, all working overtime to hide the truth. That morning, I watched Monica use every single one. She blinked too slowly. Her lips parted, closed, then curved into what I assume was meant to be a smirk. Oh, those slippers, she said lightly. Those must be from the old donation box I brought down from the attic. You know, for Goodwill. Creative. I'll give her that. The attic? I asked. That's odd. I was up there last month organizing the holiday stuff. Didn't see any donation box. Monica shrugged. Maybe you missed it. Sure. And maybe I'm the Pope. I didn't press further. That's the trick with liars. You don't chase them, you let them talk. They always give you more rope than you need. By Monday, I had cameras hidden in 3 spots: the front porch, the hallway closet behind an old board game box, and our bedroom bookshelf disguised as a weather station. Courtesy of Cal, my stealthy friend with a moral compass shaped like a scalpel. I feel like I'm in a Netflix thriller, I told him while installing the hallway lens. You are, he said. Only this time. You're the audience and the plot twist. Tuesday afternoon, showtime. The camera caught her at 3:18 p.m., standing by the mirror, applying makeup. Not her usual errands look. This was the full treatment. Eyeliner, perfume, heels. Then at 3:42 p.m., the front door opened. Enter Mr. Slippers. Wiry frame. Dress shirt unbuttoned 1 notch too far. Hair pushed back like he just stepped off a cologne ad. He kissed her without hesitation. The kind of kiss that doesn't come with introductions. They moved upstairs, and I watched from my office, every second sharpening the picture I was building in my mind. This wasn't an affair born from boredom. It was strategic, practiced, rehearsed. They'd done this before. By Thursday, I had enough footage to launch a campaign. But I wasn't ready to drop the hammer. Not yet. First, I needed to know who he was. So I did what any composed, rational man would do. I tracked his license plate. Cal ran it through his system, because, of course, he has a guy for that. Name's David Matheson. Cal reported the next day. Corporate consultant. Works out of a WeWork on 9th Street. Divorced. Drives a leased Infiniti. No kids. 0 criminal record. Boring guy on paper. Exactly the kind of man who thinks he's dangerous because he owns a French press. I nodded. So a cliché. Yeah. Walking one. I decided to pay David a visit. Not as myself, of course. Just a curious potential client. He didn't recognize me. Of course not. In his mind, I was just some guy in a dress shirt with questions about optimization metrics and internal workflow. The whole time, I watched him lie with ease. Polished. Charming. Very handshake heavy. The kind of guy who uses words like synergy and cheats with a smile. He had no idea I'd seen him unzip my wife's dress 2 days earlier. That's the beautiful part about playing dumb. You get all the information and none of the suspicion. That night, Monica suggested we go out to dinner. Just us, she said, all sweet and sentimental. We've been so busy lately. Right. Busy cheating. Still, I said yes. Because why not? We ended up at a place called Vino and Vine, a pretentious little spot that served steak like it was an endangered species. White tablecloths, low lights, the works. She leaned across the table, touched my hand. I know things have been weird, she said, voice soft. But I want to work on us. It was impressive. The performance. I almost believed her. Almost. I smiled. Sure, let's work on us. She looked relieved. I was calm, relaxed. Because I had already booked a consultation with a divorce attorney earlier that morning. Because I'd already transferred most of our shared funds to an account in my name. Because I had the footage. The dates. The times. Even screenshots of his phone number from her call log. I wasn't just a husband anymore. I was a data analyst with motive. And Monica? She was still playing chess with someone who already flipped the board. The problem with Monica wasn't that she lied. It was that she lied so confidently. Like she was narrating an audiobook called How to Deceive Your Husband while making risotto. There we were, sitting in candlelight, her fork swirling pasta like it wasn't soaked in betrayal. She wore the sapphire necklace I gave her for our 5th anniversary. I watched it catch the light, and for a second, I remembered loving her. Then I remembered the slippers. Tell me something, I said, cutting into my steak. She looked up, fork paused mid-twirl. What's that? When was the last time you felt truly honest with me? She smiled, but it flickered. Why would you ask that? Just curious. Monica leaned back, sipping her wine like a woman who's seen enough true crime documentaries to know when a question has weight. I'm always honest, she said. Oh, classic. I played along. The bill came. She offered to split it. Odd, considering she'd been using my credit card last week to buy new throw pillows. Probably to impress David Consultant of the Year Matheson. We left the restaurant like nothing was broken, but I could see it in her body language. The stiffness, the darting eyes, the way she checked her phone like it owed her an alibi. When we got home, I kissed her on the cheek. "Thanks for tonight," I said, steady. "You've still got your spark." She laughed lightly. "Guess you're stuck with me." I nodded. "For now." She went to take a bath, and I went to open the burner phone I'd hidden in the drawer under the junk mail. That phone had one purpose: documentation. Photos, screenshots, time-stamped notes. Every excuse she made, every slip of the tongue, every "it's just the girls" text that lined up perfectly with David's little Lexus showing up on our driveway. The camera in the hallway got great footage of their first hug that turned into a longer than necessary embrace. The bookshelf camera caught them in the bedroom, fully clothed but whispering just close enough that I could isolate a few words in the audio. "You make me feel alive again." Cute. Meanwhile, I was downstairs organizing her betrayal into Dropbox folders. A week later, I invited David over. Yup, you read that right. He didn't know it was me, of course. I used a fake name, fake business email, even a fake LinkedIn profile. Told him I wanted help launching a boutique consulting firm for luxury wellness retreats. Which, honestly, sounds like something Monica would fall for. He came to the house at 2 p.m. sharp, probably expecting to meet some clueless husband with big ideas and a weak handshake. Instead, he found me at the kitchen table, flipping through his text messages. I'd printed out a few, just for ambience. "David," I said without looking up. "Thanks for coming." He froze. That moment, worth every second of patience I'd exercised over the last month. "Do I know you?" "Oh, I think you do," I said, motioning to the folder in front of me. "You've been wearing my slippers." He stood still, not aggressive, not apologetic, just trying to calculate how fast he could reach the door without embarrassing himself. "I'm not here to fight," I said. "Actually, I'm here to offer you a deal." That got his attention. "Here's what's going to happen," I continued. "You're going to disappear. No more texts. No more house visits. No more wine glasses on my countertop. You go back to your sad little co-working space, and you never look back." "And if I don't?" he asked, trying on a brave face. I slid the folder toward him. "Then your ex-wife, your boss, and your church group all get a copy of what's inside. High-res, with timestamps." He flipped through the photos. His face turned pale. "You were never the threat," I said as he stood. "You were just the mirror that showed me who Monica really was." He left. No dramatic exit. Just a quiet one, like a balloon deflating behind a closed door. I didn't tell Monica about the meeting. I wanted her to wonder. And soon enough, she did. That night, as she folded laundry, ironic, really, she asked, "Have I seemed distracted lately?" I looked up from the couch. "A little." "I'm sorry," she said. "I've just been stressed." "No worries," I replied, flipping the page of my book. "We all have secrets." Her hand slowed. She looked at me, and for the first time in a long time, she was afraid. Our 10th anniversary was coming up. That's right, 10 whole years. A decade. The kind of milestone that gets you Facebook memories, awkward toasts, and ceramic plates with scripted gold lettering if you're into that kind of thing. Monica was. She loved those sentimental, performative milestones. She already had a Pinterest board labeled Anniversary Magic Ring Sparkles, filled with ideas she probably intended for David and not me. I looked through it one evening while she was at Pilates. Spoiler alert, she wasn't stretching anything but the truth. There were sunset dinners, vow renewals, couple massages in Bali. But I had something better planned. First, I played along. That's always key. Never tip your hand too soon. A good magician doesn't reveal the trick while the audience still wants to believe. I booked us a cabin. I told her over breakfast, 2 weeks before the date. Her face lit up, wide-eyed and fake surprised. "You did?" "Lake Haven," I said. "The place we almost went for our honeymoon, remember?" She smiled, the kind of smile you give a waiter who finally brings your food after an hour. "You're full of surprises lately," she said. "You have no idea," I thought. The cabin was a real place. Rustic. Private. Beautiful, actually. A-frame house nestled between tall pines, with floor-to-ceiling windows that let the morning sun spill across the wood floors. Monica had shown it to me years ago when she thought we were still in love. Back when she used to bring me ideas instead of excuses. I booked it in her name. Paid for it with her credit card. Told the front desk to expect her and a guest. Because I wouldn't be going. Not in person, anyway. Let me rewind. In the week leading up to our trip, I laid every trap with the kind of precision you only develop after a decade of marriage and a month of watching someone destroy it. I installed a keylogger on her laptop, discovered her secret email account, found the fake name she used to book a spa day, Alyssa Green, for the record. That gave me access to her calendar. And lo and behold, there it was. Saturday, 2 p.m., pick up David. Pack wine. Check into Lake Haven. Surprise him. Surprise him? Sweetheart, the surprise is mine. I contacted the resort 2 days prior and upgraded the package. Candlelight dinner. Personalized cake with the words, "To Secret Beginnings," scrawled in chocolate. Even arranged for a local photographer to coincidentally offer a couple's shoot the moment they arrived. All of it. Paid up front. Under Monica's name. Receipts sent to her inbox. With auto-forwarding turned onto mine. The night before she left, she was downright giddy. She pretended to be stressed, something about her friend Angela going through a breakup. I might drive out to see her, she said while slipping lingerie into a bag she thought I wouldn't notice. I nodded from the couch. That's kind of you, I said. Tell her I hope things get better. She kissed my forehead like I was an old dog who didn't know he was about to be put down. I almost felt bad. Almost. Saturday morning, I made her breakfast. Eggs, toast, strawberries cut into little hearts. You're being so sweet lately, she said. I just smiled. I'm trying. She left at noon. Said she'd probably be back Sunday night. I walked her to the car, watched her drive away. Then I walked back inside and opened my laptop. The cabin had motion-detecting security cameras. I know this because I called the resort manager 2 weeks ago and asked if I could access the guest footage for safety reasons. I told him my wife had anxiety. Not a total lie. I tuned in just in time. Car pulls up. Monica steps out first. She's wearing a red dress I hadn't seen in years, the same one she used to call too much for me. But apparently not for David. He stepped out next, carrying an overnight bag. They kissed. Like this was their first vacation and not their last. An hour in, the photographer arrived, right on cue. I watched Monica's face when he introduced himself. Sponsored by the resort, he said. Couples package. She hesitated. David said, sure, why not? They posed near the lake. She rested her head on his shoulder. He kissed her temple. Meanwhile, back at home, I was printing photos from the live feed, stapling them into a folder, labeled, for the records. That evening, I scheduled a delivery to the cabin, timed perfectly with dinner. A single box, wrapped in brown paper. Inside it, Monica's wedding ring, the one she stopped wearing last month. Alongside it, a simple note. I hope he's everything I wasn't. The man who paid for your anniversary. The camera caught the moment she opened it. Her face cracked like ice on a windshield. David asked something, probably, what is it? She didn't answer. She just stared, and I watched her unravel, one memory at a time. At 10 p.m., I sent her a message. Not to her phone. She'd blocked me after realizing what had happened. No, I sent it to the resort TV, using the SmartCast system I remote connected to. It appeared on the screen just as they got into bed. Big, bold letters. Smile for the camera, sweetheart. This was your final take. She left the cabin alone the next morning. David didn't follow. Maybe she told him the truth. Maybe he found it on his own. Either way, I got what I wanted. Not revenge. Resolution. By Monday morning, Monica's carefully arranged life had the structural integrity of a sandcastle at high tide. The moment she stepped into the house, I could hear the performance winding up. Keys on the counter, heels off with a sigh, then her voice, gentle, casual, artificial. Babe, she called. You home? I was. Sitting at the kitchen table with a manila folder in front of me, a cup of coffee in hand, and the calm demeanor of someone who'd already filed for divorce and was just waiting for the reaction shot. She rounded the corner and froze. Eyes flicked to the folder, then to me, then back to the folder like it might explode. Rough weekend? I asked. She laughed. Light, tight, rehearsed. Angela's a mess. Long story. I'm sure. Say, where's that red dress? Haven't seen that one in a while. That was her first misstep. The blink. The 2-second lag between her brain scrambling for a lie and her mouth deciding it wasn't worth the effort. Oh, she said. I spilled wine on it. Left it at her place. Right. I tapped the folder. Speaking of spills. She sat slowly. Like she could smell that something wasn't just off, it was rigged. What's that? Timeline. Records. Financials. GPS logs. Wedding souvenirs. She didn't open it. Didn't need to. She could see her reflection in my lack of expression. Logan, save it. I handed her the folder. She didn't take it, so I dropped it in front of her. Pages slipped out like secrets tumbling into daylight. A still image from the cabin feed. Her and David, mid-kiss. An itemized list of all the purchases she made under my name in the last 3 months. A snapshot of the cabin check-in record. Her face, once poised and calculating, now looked like it had been unplugged. Blank. Pale. Mouth parted, but the lies never came. Who else knows? She finally asked, voice paper thin. Let's find out, I said, reaching for my phone. I started with her parents. Not out of spite, but because the last time we visited, she sat across from them and praised me like I was the damn Pope. Logan works so hard. He always takes care of things. I'm lucky. Now it was time for them to meet the man she really brought to Lake Haven. Her father answered on the second ring. Logan, what a surprise. Everything all right? I'd say so, sir, I said. Just calling to let you know Monica and I won't be making the family brunch next week. Oh, he asked. Why is that? Monica opened her mouth. I didn't let her speak. We're getting divorced. She's been seeing someone else. Caught them on camera. It's all in the folders sitting in front of her. Silence. Her father exhaled like someone had just knocked the wind out of him with a velvet pillow. I see. I know this isn't easy, I added. But I thought you deserved to hear it from someone who wasn't trying to spin it. He didn't say much. Just one final sentence. Thank you for your honesty, Logan. Monica's face fell. Next came her friends. The ones who never liked me, as she used to say. Funny how I was still footing the bill for her girls' nights and yoga retreats while they called me boring behind her back. I drafted a simple email. Subject line, our anniversary weekend, a cautionary tale. Attached, screenshots of Monica's booking confirmation. 2 choice photos from the cabin. A brief message. To those who wondered why I was distant lately, this should clear it up. No need to reply. I'm good. CC'd to 6 people. Hit send. Then poured another cup of coffee. The fallout didn't take long. By noon, Monica's phone lit up like a Christmas tree in crisis. Text after text. Some supportive, some shocked. One from her best friend that just said, "You really thought you'd get away with it?" She started crying around 12:30. But it was the quiet kind, controlled, restrained, like she didn't want to give me the satisfaction. You've humiliated me, she whispered. I looked up from my book. No, Monica, you humiliated yourself. I just turned the lights on. Then came the divorce. Already filed, already rolling. I'd gone full chess master weeks ago. The joint account? Frozen. The house? In my name. She never bothered signing the paperwork for co-ownership. The prenup? She laughed at it once. Signed it anyway. Big mistake. The dog she wanted to fight for? Doesn't exist. That one was just to test her bluff reflex. She had no leg to stand on. I wasn't cruel in court. I was surgical. You're not going to fight me? She asked one night, after getting the divorce packet. Why? I said. You already lost. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I believe that, I said. I think you meant to cheat. Lie. Play house with David until it got messy. But you never expected me to notice. Or plan. Or walk away. She lowered her eyes. You used to love me. I used to believe you were someone else. Here's the thing about revenge. People expect fire. Screaming. Slammed doors and broken glass. But real revenge? It's quiet. It's composed. It's the moment someone realizes their greatest mistake wasn't betrayal. It was underestimating the one they betrayed. About a week after Monica moved into her sister's guest bedroom and started referring to her affair as a lapse in judgment, I heard through the grapevine that David had a new problem. And this time, it wasn't me. It was his boss. See, when you dig into someone's life as deeply as I had to dig into Monica's, you start picking up a few details along the way. Like where David worked, who his supervisor was, what his firm's code of ethics policy looked like on page 37, subsection 4. Engaging in inappropriate personal relationships that may affect workplace performance, perception, or fiduciary responsibility. I printed that line out, highlighted it, and slipped it into a padded envelope alongside a USB drive labeled Internal Risk Audit, Private. Inside the drive, a folder titled Client Conflict, M. Keller. Inside that folder, 6 screenshots of David and Monica's texts, a scan of the booking receipt for the Lake Haven cabin, paid with Monica's company card. A still photo of them holding hands in the cabin parking lot. One recording, audio only, where Monica giggled and said, "You should come work at my company. You'd be my reward every Friday." Professional, right? I mailed it on a Monday. By Wednesday, I got a call from Cal. "You might want to check LinkedIn," he said. I did. David's job status had changed. From senior strategy consultant at Vector and Company to available for new opportunities. A polite euphemism for fired. Hard. Apparently, his boss had a thing for zero-tolerance policies. Also a thing for company optics. Turns out, David was halfway through negotiating a merger with one of Monica's competitors, which meant his relationship with her wasn't just unethical, it was an actual financial liability. Oops. Now here's the funny part. I didn't get an angry call or a threatening message. No long email full of legalese. Nothing. I think David knew better. But what I did get, 3 days later, was a handwritten letter in my mailbox. Postmarked anonymously. No return address. It read, "You win. I didn't know she was married when it started. She said you were separated. By the time I figured it out, I was too deep. Doesn't matter now. I lost everything. Hope it was worth it." There was no signature, but I recognized the handwriting from the spa sign-in sheet Monica once left on the counter. David's chicken scratch, emotionally defeated cursive with weird capital GS. I showed the letter to Cal. He read it, snorted, and said, he forgot the part where he was also a grown adult who could have Googled her. Fair point. I wasn't looking for an apology. I wasn't even angry anymore. What I felt was a sense of balance. David lost his job. Monica lost her mask. I lost a wife, sure, but I gained something else. Clarity. And the beautiful thing about clarity? It sharpens everything. That weekend, I ran into one of Monica's old co-workers at a hardware store. Friendly guy named Jarrett. We bonded once over our mutual confusion about what Monica actually did for a living. He looked surprised to see me. "Hey, Logan. Heard about the situation." "Sorry, man." I shrugged. "No need. It was overdue." He glanced around, lowered his voice. "You know she's still telling people it was just an emotional affair, right? She says you overreacted." Of course she did. Because nothing terrifies a narcissist more than accountability with evidence. "Let her talk," I said. Eventually, people stopped listening. On Sunday, my attorney called. "Just got a message from Monica's lawyer," she said. "She's requesting to renegotiate the terms of the divorce agreement." "On what grounds?" "Emotional distress," she replied. "Claims she was humiliated and subjected to character assassination. Says your campaign of exposure has damaged her reputation and ability to find stable employment." I laughed. Loudly. Probably too loudly. "She's aware that she did all of those things, right?" "Just checking," the attorney said. "But you kept the folder of evidence?" "3 copies," I said. "One digital, one hard, one offsite. I sleep better that way." We denied her request, of course. Politely. Legally. Thoroughly. And I made sure to remind Monica's lawyer that there were far worse photos I never shared. Like the ones from before the cabin. The blurry but clear enough images from the alley behind that rooftop bar. Or the footage from the Ring camera across the street that caught David visiting more times than our mailman. Sometimes, silence is mercy. She didn't ask again. But Monica wasn't done writing her own tragedy. 3 days later, she texted me for the first time since the fallout. "Monica, do you really think I'm a monster?" "Me? I think you're a mirror. You show people exactly what they want to see. Until you don't." She didn't reply. That was our final message. David eventually disappeared from the scene. Blocked Monica, changed his number, maybe even moved. It's hard to say. I didn't keep tabs on him after that. I had no reason to. He was never the villain. Just the idiot who brought his ego to a chess match. But Monica? She was the architect of the lie. And when the walls came down, she expected sympathy. Expected me to patch it all back together. What she didn't expect was that I had already stepped outside. So now here I am. New place. New number. New peace. There's no closure. That's not real. There's only distance. And discipline. And a memory. Of the day I walked into my bathroom and found a pair of slippers that didn't belong to me. The divorce finalized on a Tuesday. No courtroom drama. No shouting. Just a few signatures on paper that felt too thin to carry the weight of 10 years. Monica didn't show. Her lawyer signed for her. The clerk looked up at me and said, "That's it. That's it." Strange how a decade of holidays. Arguments, Sunday mornings, and silent dinners could be ended by a paperclip and a rubber stamp. But I didn't feel sad. I felt clean, like finally walking out of a smoke-filled room and realizing you'd forgotten what fresh air tasted like. That night, Monica sent me a message. Just one line. Can we talk? One last time. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I poured myself a glass of bourbon, stood on my back deck, and listened to the wind brush through the trees. It sounded honest. No subtext. No hidden meanings. Just wind. At 11:09 p.m., I replied. Tomorrow. 4 p.m. Neutral place. Bring nothing but the truth. We met at a diner just outside town. Neutral ground. No fancy lighting. No emotional soundtrack. Just Formica counters and coffee refills. Monica wore black, like she was in mourning. I wore gray, like I'd already buried it. Thank you for coming, she said. I nodded. Didn't speak. I've been thinking. About everything. I let her. You're not blameless either, she said eventually. You stopped paying attention. You made everything about logic. Safety. Structure. You mean trust, consistency, stability? She frowned. You never asked if I was happy. I set my coffee down. Because you told me you were. Over and over. Until you weren't. Silence. Then she asked, do you think I'm a bad person? I looked her dead in the eye. I think you're a person who made choices. And when they caught up to you, you called it a mistake instead of a decision. She looked down, stirred her coffee even though she hadn't added sugar. I don't want to be the villain in your story. Too late, I said calmly. But don't worry, you're not the main character anymore. She didn't cry. She just nodded. And that was it. We paid our separate checks. She walked to her car. I walked away from the ghost I used to sleep beside. A week later, I took a trip. Not to find myself, not to heal. I wasn't chasing clarity. I already had it. I just wanted quiet. I flew out to Montana, rented a cabin near Flathead Lake, woke up every morning to silence and pine, drank coffee with no side of lies, hiked trails without checking my phone for updates on a crumbling marriage. One morning, I checked my email, habit mostly. There it was. A message from Monica. Subject line. One more thing. I opened it. Inside, a paragraph-long apology. No blame. No spin. Just remorse. The kind that comes not from regret, but from finally sitting in the quiet you used to fill with excuses. I didn't reply. Closure isn't something someone gives you. It's something you write for yourself. 6 months later, people stopped asking about her. My neighbors stopped mentioning her name in lowered voices. Her parents sent a stiff Christmas card. No note inside. Just their names. I moved to a new place. Smaller, simpler, sunnier. Started building furniture by hand. Something about creating with wood, honest, unforgiving, silent, gave me peace in a way therapy never could. One day, I found the old photo album. The wedding pictures. Smiles stretched across two people who had no idea what 10 years would ask of them. I didn't burn it. I didn't cry. I closed it gently, packed it into a box labeled past, and slid it into the attic. Because that's where she belongs. Not on my mind. Not in my heart. Just in the past. Where all ghosts eventually go when you stop letting them haunt you.